Hello, I'm Representative John Bell, the North Carolina House Majority Leader. I'm sorry that I was unable to attend today in person, but I would like to thank my good friend and former colleague, Congressman Greg Murphy, for organizing this important event. I would also like to thank my friends Jay Faison, Chairman of the American Flood Coalition, Melissa Roberts, Founder and Executive Director of the American Flood Coalition, my good friend Tim Moore, Speaker of the North Carolina House, and our Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson, and also the other legislators and elected officials that are in attendance today. I would also like to take this opportunity to share a brief update of our efforts in the General Assembly to address flooding and making our state more resilient. Just last week marked 5 years since Hurricane Matthew pounded North Carolina, causing destruction to billions of dollars in property, upending the lives of thousands, and unfortunately resulting in 25 people losing their lives. Hurricane Matthew wasn't an anomaly. Now names like Florence, Michael, Isaias, and others are common when we talk about hurricane preparedness. In 3 of the past 5 years, a major hurricane has hit the North Carolina coastline. Though these storms may make brief headlines, the communities affected face a much larger and longer recovery. As we face another active hurricane season, the state remains vulnerable to flooding. Fortunately, we can take steps to prepare and plan for future disasters. With the right long-term approach, North Carolina communities can recover faster and build a better prepared state. That's why we're pushing for historic investments through this state budget in risk assessments, planning, projects, and support to local communities to prepare for the next flooding disasters. This would be North Carolina's largest statewide investment to address flood mitigation, and I was proud to work with a great team that included Senator Jim Perry, Senator Danny Britt, Senator Brent Jackson, Representative Brendan Jones, Representative Charlie Miller, and Representative Jimmy Dixon. I would also like to mention my good friend and retired Representative Chuck McGrady for working on this effort with me over the last 3 to 4 years. Here's how the funding will play out across the state. For communities and individuals to address flooding, they must first understand their true flood risks so they can make informed decisions on how to protect themselves. As we saw with Hurricane Matthew, record rainfall fell across the state, not just in the coast, but inland as well. Rivers rose to record levels, with flooding extending into areas that many residents thought were free from danger. And 2 years later, record rainfall fell again from Hurricane Florence, flooding communities across eastern and southeastern North Carolina. To deal with such wide-reaching impacts, communities must have a plan for protecting their properties and themselves. The state budget includes $20 million to build a flood resiliency blueprint, which would identify and prioritize projects for most at-risk watersheds, like those in the Neuse River Basin, and provide communities with the information to make informed decisions. This blueprint will be a key resource from river and stream management to reduce flooding, as well as support local government stormwater maintenance programs. Once communities understand their true risk, they need funding for smart investments. Unfortunately, the areas hit the hardest by flooding, as in the case of Hurricane Matthew, are often communities without means to prepare or recover from such events. For smaller rural communities like Fair Bluff and Seven Springs, recoveries can be long and extremely difficult. Delayed disaster aid and misguided policy combined with the impacts of additional storms create issues that take years to untangle. That's why our budget includes $25 million to the Golden Leaf Foundation to administer a mitigation and recovery fund, offering local governments the ability to apply for and receive direct funding for their smaller scale flood mitigation projects. The budget also includes $15 million to establish a disaster relief and mitigation fund, which will provide a permanent funding source to address our state's most critical recovery and resiliency needs. We also direct $40 million to bolster the existing coastal storm damage mitigation fund and over $50 million for stream debris removal. Fortunately, our state has the resources right now to jumpstart recoveries and rebuild better and stronger after disasters, thanks to responsible budgeting by our state legislature over the past decade. As budget negotiations continue with the governor and the legislature, I am confident that North Carolina will lead the way on flood resiliency and be a model for the rest of the country. I know we share this same goal, and together we can create a more resilient, secure, and prosperous future for our great state. Thank you again. Thank you for attending, and God bless each and every one of you.